Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone in this transcendental satsang of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have been discussing, we started last week, Vṛtrāsura, the prayers, actually the concluding prayers of Vṛtrāsura, which are described, is the very famous aspect or essence of Srimad Bhagavatam described in the prayers of apparently a demon, correct? So there's a tremendous, if there's a greatest paradox expressed in Bhagavat Dharma, who can perfect the Bhagavat Dharma? You know, it's a potential of every human being, you know, and so because human being, no matter what his previous background, his previous sanskara, or whatever he might be, whatever he had been, whatever he has been, is still there is a potential for him to become a pure devotee. Correct. So this paradox, and how is this possible? Through Mahat Sangha. So this Bhagavad Dharma is, the perfection of Bhagavad Dharma is rooted in Mahat Sangha. Mahat Sangha on one hand can elevate the living entity from the greatest degradation or the lowest position. And on the other hand, Mahat Aparad can degrade the living entity even almost at the stage of love of God. Almost. Because at the stage of love of God, this is not possible, where the liberation becomes full from the three modes of material energy. That's why for the sadhakas, until they attain until they become transferred as an associate of the Lord in the spiritual realm, one should not allow one to think that he has or she has made it. You know, we have to be that alert. You know, so this lifetime, present lifetime, if we stick to that principle, or stick to our vigor, or the focus of attaining the absolute realm, the supreme abode of the Lord, then we have to stay ever eager every moment. You know, so these prayers, as I said, that last 4 sloka out of the 6 slokas, last 4 slokas are Chatushloki, which describe the Samandha Gyan, Abhideya. Samandh means the actual, our true identity, Swarupa. That is Samandha Gyan. Our Swarupa, we don't exist in isolation. We exist through someone, due to someone. And so, what is our Swarupa? And then how to accomplish, how to realize, how to bring about the realization of our Swarupa once understood, and ultimately attaining our eternal association with the divine. You know, so that is called Prayojan. Prema Pumartho Mahan. Prem Prayojan, the through which we will be able to appreciate the association of the Supreme. Unless we become blessed with the love of God, Prema, we won't be able to handle the Supreme. As much as we aspire to associate with the Supreme, attaining the Supreme, correct? But it's an indirect thing for us. It's still a, although that is a real abode, real place for us, but because we have familiarized with the present, the foreign land is our real land. So our real land may appear foreign if we are transferred there prematurely. So our maturity will be gauged or judged as to if we can hold on to the focus, hold on to the vigor, and not ever thinking that we have made it as yet. So the second, in first sloka, describe that how Vṛtrāsura, to have little background, he was King Chitraketu in the previous birth. And he had a tremendous desire to have a son, although he had, there's a millions of wives, but nobody could have, could give him a son. So he was very morose, very disgusted, and so because he was a pious king, and in Vedic culture, within the religiosity, there is a possibility of attaining association of pure devotees, correct? Because in Vedic, those who are followers of Vedic culture, they respect the saintly people, renounced people. And so in that tradition, Chitraketu happened to honor and invite, means receive the great pure devotees Narad Muni and Angira Rishi. And by their transcendental or divine power, he got a son, but the son got killed by the co-wives, other wives, other than the main queen who gave the son, because that special favor was bestowed upon that queen. Anyway, so now when the son died, he became very lamenting, tremendously lamenting. Then the rishis again come and revive the son, and the son instructs him about the futility of this material existence. And this is how, through the agency of Narad Muni and Angira Rishi, the king, who was so much trapped in his consciousness about his entanglement in the family affairs, his position is described as like the, like a heavy elephant who is stuck in the muddy waters. However hard he tries, he won't be able to pull himself out, correct? But through the powerful instructions of Narad Muni Angira Rishi, he got pulled out from the deep, dark well of household affairs. And so he has this experience, and he received the mercy. There's a long story. It's difficult even to condense it, but I will try to. The thing is that in previous life, he had received the Mahat Kripa. And as a result, he received a special boon to travel all over the universe in his aeroplane and singing. Somehow he happened to pass by the Kailash, where Lord Shiva residing with his wife Parvati. And what Lord Shiva does, he discusses Hari Katha amongst the saintly people. And so so in that assembly of saintly people and sages, Lord Shiva was holding, keeping his wife on his lap. So this was not so appreciated by King Chitraketu. Lord Shiva worships his Ishta, his worshipable deity is Sankarshan. And by the mercy of Narad Muni and Angira Rishi, King Chitraketu also received the mercy, the vision of Lord Sankarshan, who blessed him to travel all over the universe with singing glorification. So when he commented on Lord Shiva for this not the best behavior on his part, that while doing Krishna Katha, he is having his wife on his lap. So anyway, Lord Shiva was amused because he thought that Chitraketu had received the mercy of the same Lord as him. So he didn't mind. He just smiled. But Mother Parvati, another devoted to a pure devotee, correct? Mother Parvati. So she could not tolerate the apparent insulting words on comments on Lord Shiva. So she cursed King Chitraketu to become a demon. So by Mahat Kripa, the king on one side got pulled out of family affairs and become received the direct mercy of the Lord. But as long as we are in this material world, even if we have received the direct mercy of the Lord, it is quite possible that if we commit mahadaprad, if we think we are liberated, a liberated person never thinks that he is liberated. But because he had received the direct mercy of the Lord, he thought, but there is another. Why would a pure devotee who had received the direct mercy of the Lord would act in such a way? There is another inner cause also. Because when he realized that how merciful, how blessed is the position of Narad Muni and Angira Rishi, who are the associates of the Lord. So he developed a desire to become as blessed, means to become the eternal associate of the Lord. So in order to expedite his journey towards the Supreme, and with the to increase his intensity, the eagerness to become the eternal associate of the Lord, this cursed pastime took place, And so even as a demon, he remembered everything. That now there is a plot created by the Lord himself to get him killed by Indra. So these prayers which we are discussing here, these are on the battlefield. So the battlefield, he's as if instructing Indra. In the today's shloka, the address would also be to Indra, Shakra, one who has performed 100 successfully 100 yagyas, sacrifices. He attains the position of Lord Indra. That's why we find in the Puranas that whenever somebody has performed a lot of yagyas, and after 99, like King Prithu also performed 99 yagyas in 100 yagya, Indra would create some problem so that his position is not toppled. Anyway, so many things in the stories, but the prayer which Vṛtrāsura is expressing, so today's shloka is the two shlokas before the last 5 shloka, which is called Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And as we discussed before, that the prayers are of two kinds. First is, such lofty prayers one is able to make only through realization. So today's shloka, same as last week's shloka, is the realization he is revealing with regard to getting the special mercy of the Lord. So we as sadhakas, we appreciate the mercy of the Lord, and but our expectations are always positive mercy, correct? Apparently. But actually, in advanced stage, every event that happens, anything that happens in the life of a devotee, it is perceived as a pure mercy of .com only. So this is what Vṛtrāsura is sharing his realization. So we see that once the Mahat Kripa is received, it only pushes further on the fast track to attain the complete mercy, Supreme. So this is what we will hear in the coming weeks, that how apparently the Lord Vishnu, uh, created a situation so that Vṛtrāsura is killed. But by getting killed, it guarantees he's attaining the Supreme, because this is the plan of the Lord. On the other hand, apparently, the Devatas of the King Indra, receiving the mercy by getting protection from this, protection from the onslaught of Vṛtrāsura. But he is still stuck in the Svarga Loka, in the material realm. But Vṛtrāsura attained the absolute supreme perfection. So we can see, although the Lord is bestowing mercy upon everyone, what kind of mercy are we aspiring? Man proposes, God disposes. So we have to be very, very careful what we propose to the Lord. What we are up to, what we should be up to is, we have discussed the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, the message of Mahaprabhu, what they are imploring us to aspire for. On the other hand, if we aspire for anything less, then it would be easy, because Krishna would say, okay, that's easy. Only if we aspire the highest achievement possible for the human soul, then Krishna wants us to prepare for it nicely. For other aspirations, it's very easy, because any aspiration which is not in accordance to our eternal Swarupa will baffle us. We will be baffled. And we cannot hold on to that fulfillment. Even if you attain the boon, or to attain the fulfillment of our aspiration, within these three worlds, within this realm of 14 strata of material existence, we won't be able to settle there for good. So that's why our aspiration should be along the line of a Vṛtrāsura. Vṛtrāsura, although apparently a demon, but what he is praying and what he is revealing, due to the effect of the Mahat Kripa he has received. Once one has received the Mahat Kripa, he will definitely go all the way. Even if one or two lapses, like he had to become a demon. So, but it also was to expedite his intensity of love for the Supreme. Because love of God is not a casual thing. Okay, yes, love of God is the goal of life, and eventually we'll get. No, we have to hanker for, we have to cry for it, we have to die for it. We have to, because it is priceless. It is priceless, and if you don't value it as much means through all other endeavors, it is not possible, because endeavor can be put, can be priced, correct? Okay, this, I work 10 hours, I get this much wealth or this much reward in exchange. But something which is priceless, no matter how much you work, how much you strive on your own, it is not possible to achieve it. So this point will be very much again stressed, that in sadhana, for the sadhakas, one has to come to the point of desperation, point of hankering, something which is not possible within our capacity to attain that, to pay the price to attain that status, absolute love of God, attaining the Supreme. And in order to cause that, this Vṛtrāsura, this curse of Vṛtrāsura is described. Anyway, once one becomes spiritually awakened due to Mahat Kripa, or by receiving the direct mercy of the Lord, as King Chitraketu had the direct vision of Lord Shankarshan, and who blessed him with a plane in which he can travel all over the universe. So we can see that the mercy direct mercy is received. Still, the fullest mercy, one has to be always eager. One has to be very, very focused. So we can see that although he desired to receive the fullest mercy, to become the associate of the Lord, and only to intensify his desire. When a person is so feels so degraded or so down, his hankering for the supreme or divine distance is so much that he only can cry out. Whereas those who are stuck in heavenly planets like King Indra, although they have also the knowledge of the absolute realm, but the pleasure and all the freedom from all the material problems like old age, disease, they are non-existent in heavenly planets. So it's very, very difficult for those situated in heavenly planets, or those who are situated in a kingly facility, even in this material world, for them, or very rich, to hanker after the supreme. Correct? It's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. That's why we can thank Krishna for whatever situation he has given us. That in the present moment we are able to connect to the absolute satsang, where our focus is not to cause our any progressiveness within the material world. Our progressiveness is only targeting the absolute supreme destination. So here in today's shloka is very, very wonderful. Traivargikayas vighatam patirvidhatti purushasya shakra tato numeyo bhagavat prasado yo durlabho kinchana gocharonye. So this is text number 23, if one wants to have the reference. 6th canto, 11th chapter, the transcendental qualities of Vṛtrāsura. Last week we did the 22nd, and in today's shloka, Vṛtrāsura is sharing amazing realizations. He's speaking to Indra, and he's exciting Indra, encouraging, imploring Indra to use the weapon given to him by Lord Vishnu, the thunderbolt, which was prepared from the bones of Dadhichi Rishi. That story is very far out also. What a magnanimous to fulfill the cause of the Supreme. When Dadhichi Rishi heard the news from the Devatas that the Lord has desired, Lord has wished that you give up your bones to make a thunderbolt that will be used by King Indra to kill Vṛtrāsura. And he agreed. Don't you think by fulfilling the will of the Supreme, he has attained the perfection of his human potential? Yes, he attained the Supreme. So that absolute mercy, how one receives, the secret is revealed here. Actually, these 6 shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam, if you speak on every day, this is the practical demonstration of attaining the perfection of Bhagavad Dharma. We say, Traivargi Kayasam, our Lord, Vṛtrāsura is speaking to Indra, our Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, forbids his devotees to endeavor uselessly for religion, economic development, and sense gratification. O Indra, one can thus infer how kind the Lord is. Such mercy is obtainable only by unalloyed devotees, not by persons who aspire for material gains. Unalloyed devotees, what they want? Unalloyed devotees only want, their mission is only to bring joy, bring satisfaction to the Supreme. So then they receive such unique mercy in the form of what? That they endeavor for religiosity, endeavor for economic development, and endeavor for sense gratification. They are baffled by the Lord. But such mercy is bestowed only on the akinchana, means the pure devotees. You know, because pure devotee, because he really wants to please the Supreme. And even for that purpose, if he wishes to have, because dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, the religiosity is also established by the Supreme. Then economic development and sense gratification or many other projects or ideas one wants to fulfill by acquiring lots of wealth. But Krishna here, Vṛtrāsura is revealing that the Lord baffles such endeavor. For whom? For his pure devotees. But such mercy, such special mercy, yo durlabh hai, very difficult to obtain, such very difficult to obtain mercy is the recipient. Who is the recipient? Only the pure devotee. Yo durlabho akinchana gocharonnyai. Agochar anyai. For others who are not pure devotees, who are aspiring for other things in the material world, because a pure devotee never aspires for anything other than the satisfaction of the Lord, correct? So not aspiring for any material gain or anything, still to fulfill the mission of the Lord, suppose. He may perform religious activities, he may endeavor for economic development, because if one has sufficient amount of wealth, then one can take care of many projects, correct? Devotional projects and many things. Lakshmi is needed. So from that point of view, but one who purely aspires to attain the fullest mercy of the Lord will baffle his endeavor for religiosity, his endeavor for religiosity, because when one performs religiosity, then one becomes famous, correct? One becomes well established. He gets good credit points. If a person has this credential that he's a very pious and religious person, charitable, and he takes a lot of religious vows and many things, so he earns a lot of prestige in the society. And then when one is a prestigious, then everybody wants to deal with him. Then it's easier for him to do economic development. And he can, because a person who is well established, who has good credentials, then a lot of people give him credits. A lot of people want to join him, isn't it? Character building, character image is very essential. So from that point of view, he has good chance that he can make lots of money, and then he can. But when the Lord wants to expedite someone to attaining the Supreme, who is such devotee? Akinchana, one who does not have any sense of possession of anything except the Lord. Akinchana means what? One who does not have any sense of possession, that anything belongs to him. Akinchana, you have to think everything belongs to Krishna, including himself. So whatever he receives, even through endeavors, he's only going to use for Krishna's purpose. But this endeavor for economic endeavor is very, very time consuming, correct? Not only time consuming, body consuming, mind consuming, intelligence consuming. So it's very indirect. It takes one away from the direct absorption in the Supreme. Krishna's beautiful, divine Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. But so that's why here it is very wonderfully mentioned that when Krishna wants to bless someone in accordance to his aspiration. So here we can see that Akinchana means whose only aspiration is to fulfill the cause of the Supreme. Then Krishna also reciprocates accordingly. Well, you only want to please me, then what is the need of performing religiosity? And do you think you want to earn for me? I already have lots of money. Oh, I want to earn for the Lord. Is Lord poor? So this dharma, the kam, these are uh, established, or the arrangement for such things are for those who don't, those who are not situated in a higher adhikar. Those who are situated in nimna adhikar for sense gratification, then Krishna says, okay, you cannot directly, exclusively worship me only. So, okay, you can take the slow process. But those who are akinchana, for them, Krishna says, you are wasting your time. So he baffles. Patir vidhatte purushasya shakra. What a beautiful, huh? Patir vidhatte, he is addressing Shakra, O Indra, our Lord. Vighatam asmat. Vighata means destroys, na? He ruins, he destroys all the endeavor. So such mercy that somebody is making an endeavor for all these things, and then he just smashes all the endeavor, baffles. Then what happens? Such mercy. Now this is very difficult to digest, correct? Such mercy. Tatonu meyo. If one receives such a mercy, if a sadhaka receives such a mercy, and if he has this shloka out of the 18,000 shlokas of Bhagavatam, if this one shloka he captures the spirit of it. Tatonu meyo. Through this, by this, anumeyo means one should infer. Tatonu meyo bhagavat prasado. One should infer this is special mercy of the Lord. Others who don't get so much smashed in their endeavor for economic development, they are not getting that special mercy. But one whose endeavor for economic development are baffled or smashed, then the Lord wants us to take a different course. But such mercy is perceived only one who is a pure devotee, one who is a unalloyed devotee or akinchana, one who fully understands and appreciates that everything belongs to Krishna. So if everything is taken away from me, then Krishna is trying to free me to become exclusively devoted directly in his glorification. Tatonumeyo Bhagavat Prasad yo durlabho. Such mercy is very, very rarely achieved. Such rare mercy, akinchana agochara. If one is not a pure devotee, it won't be perceived. It's the special mercy, you know. If one is not on the platform of pure devotion, he will lament, oh, I'm devastated. I'm devastated. He's not thinking that he got a special mercy, correct? But because he had received the satsang from Narad Muni and Angira Rishi, who were, what was that? They were freely, without attaching to anything. Out of mind, out of sight, without attaching. They were freely traveling all over the universe, connecting people to the glories of the Supreme, making them devotees. So this mercy is perceived by them. O Indra, one can thus infer how kind the Lord is. Such mercy is obtainable only by unalloyed devotees, not by persons who aspire for material gains. Let us read Prabhupada's beautiful purport. So Prabhupada just captures everything. We will take a question answers after that. Let us read the purport. There are 4 objectives in human life, namely religiosity, dharma, economic development, artha, sense gratification, kama, and liberation, moksha, from the bondage of material existence. People generally aspire for religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification. But a devotee has no other desire than to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, both in this life and in the next. The special mercy for the unalloyed devotee, the special mercy for the unalloyed devotee. Now, special mercy goes hand in hand with unalloyed devotee. But if one is not unalloyed devotee, then he may be scared of the special mercy. You know? The special mercy for the unalloyed devotee is that the Lord saves him from hard labor to achieve the results of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Of course, if one wants such benefits, the Lord certainly awards them. See here, man proposes, God disposes. But if one wants the supreme mercy, then Krishna will also act accordingly. Of course, if one wants such benefits, the Lord certainly awards them. Indra, for example, although a devotee, was not much interested in release from material bondage. Instead, he desired sense gratification at a high standard of material happiness in the heavenly planets. Vṛtrāsura, however, being an unalloyed devotee, why he is called unalloyed devotee? Because his only hankering was to attain the such fortune of Narad Muni and Angira Rishi, who were so directly devoted and who were so dear to the Supreme. So he wanted to endear himself. So what is the symptom or the mood of a person who is an unalloyed devotee? That he wants to endear himself to the Supreme. Vṛtrāsura, however, being an unalloyed devotee, aspired only to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord arranged for him to go back to Godhead after his bodily bondage. After his bodily bondage was destroyed by Indra, Vṛtrāsura requested Indra. Vṛtrāsura requesting Indra to release his thunderbolt against him as soon as possible so that both he and Indra would benefit according to their proportionate advancement in devotional service. What an amazing, amazing realization. He's directly perceiving the supreme mercy of the Lord, and he's just kind of making fun of Indra. Okay, you think the Lord is on your side, correct? Lord is on your side, but are you on Lord's side? See, and apparently the Lord is not apparently on Vṛtrāsura's side, correct? But the Vṛtrāsura is on Lord's side. See the paradox, the duality of this apparent and real. So this episode and these prayers are very most instructive, you know. So we should identify, we should aspire like Vṛtrāsura and free ourselves from aspiring like Indra, you know. This is the essence of the shloka. so many things can be discussed also, but if anybody has any thoughts or one wants to share or any question, we can proceed. As other things will come to our mind, we will share. But Vṛtrāsura's prayers are so powerful that in Matsya Purana, they describe where the symptoms, special features of Bhagavatam. In glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, certain aspects, or certain lakshan means the symptoms of Srimad Bhagavatam, and one of the symptoms is in which the story or the liberation of Vṛtrāsura is described. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. That means this is very peculiar to Srimad Bhagavatam. This episode of Vṛtrāsura is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam only. So this is so important a section. And from next week onward, we will have the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. The whole, we will try to appreciate how the prayers of Vṛtrāsura. So do two sections. So that these two prayers, last week's and this today's shloka, they are the precursors, pre-shlokas, and now the actual shloka of Chatushloki will start next week. So anybody has any question or comment or something, can discuss.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru. Hare Krishna, Pranam. Shri Guru, it's so nice to hear you speak this pastime, just to see how much joy it brings you. It really brings it to life. It's very, very inspiring, Shri Guru. I had one question, if I could ask. Then, on the note that we should endeavor to expedite, we should endeavor to get rid of our hankerings which are not related to the Lord, any material hankerings. Then I was thinking, if one naturally has a proclivity for material desires, one naturally has them already, but also one is praying to get rid of them. Does the Lord listen to both of these things, or he's only going to get rid of them? Will he still fulfill the material desires?
Recording in progress.
Yes, ultimately, Lord does for one's ultimate good. Why Krishna wants and Srimad Bhagavatam establishes the principle of exclusive worship of the Supreme. अकाम है सर्व काम वा मोक्ष काम उदारधि तीव्रेण भक्ति योगेन यजित है पुरुष परम. Exclusive worship of the Supreme, even with ulterior motive, is never condemned. Do you think the worship of the Supreme by Dhruv Maharaj is condemned? Or anybody is condemned? No. Even Krishna says that one who exclusively worships me, yoga kshemam vahamyam, I take care of his necessities. I provide him what he lacks. So that means he's somebody is hankering for any material things. That is taken care of. Na? Krishna says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityave yuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyam. So Krishna definitely takes care of his material necessities. But eventually when one becomes the exclusive worship of Krishna, one will also through satsang will come to realize the Lord already has the best interest in his heart for me. So rather than me suggesting the Lord what he should do for him, correct? He fully frees himself. That what I can wish or pray for myself, whatever the Lord will do will always be better for me. That conviction the devotee always has. And that's why as a sadhaka, even if one has some desire, material hankering or anything, as a sadhaka, I am just sharing my appreciation. One should not pray to the Lord to fulfill that desire. The Lord, I'm going to this dilemma and all these things. What should be done, only you decide. Because if a devotee, if a sadhaka prays to the Lord, Lord, fulfill my this desire, the Lord may do it right away, and then we are entangled. You know, it will slow down. It will prolong. What is the proper word? Prolong. Prolong our attaining the Supreme. Our only prayer should be how I can become free from this hankerings which are hovering in my mind, in my consciousness. Never ever should pray to the Lord, Lord, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? A devotee sadhaka should always have absolute faith that whatever the Lord will do. So here is the thing. The nature of the Lord is such. Satyam vidhatti. What is that sloka? Satyam dishati arthitam arthito nrinam. It's in 5th canto somewhere. Satyam dishati arthitam arthito nrinam. The Lord definitely bestows. Satyam dishati. Satyam means definitely, yes. Dishati means he bestows. Arthitam. Arthita means whatever is desired. Arthito means those who desire. Means the devotees, whatever they desire, the Lord definitely bestows that blessing. Naivarthado, but he does not bestow such thing that attaining which one is to desire again. It's not that we beg something from the Lord, correct? And if the Lord fulfills that desire, then again we will remain a beggar. Satyam dishati arthitam arthito nrinam naivarthado. You know, all this beautiful instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam. Naivarthado. Memory is sometimes blocked. Swayam vidhatti bhajatam anicchatam ichha pidhanam nijapad pallavam. As far as giving is concerned, the Lord is the control of the unlimited treasure. So as far as giving is concerned, Swayam vidhatti bhajatam anicchatam. He is able to give even himself. So there is no scarcity, there is no dearth of fund or blessings which the Lord cannot bestow. But those who pray to him, Swayam vidhatti bhajatam means those who pray to him. Anicchatam, those who pray to the Lord for his divine mercy, even if they don't pray for his lotus feet, correct? If somebody prays to attain the service of the divine lotus feet of the Lord, there is no problem. But most people, most sadhakas, when they go in front of the Lord, they are not thinking, oh Lord, when will I attain the service of your lotus feet, correct? sadhakas go to the Lord in their prayer. They have many situations, many issues bothering them. Nah? For all of us, most of us, we're going through so many situations and time zones and different things. So, but if the Lord, if the devotee prays to the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Even when we know the meaning, Srila Prabhupada has given the meaning. Oh Krishna, oh the divine energy of Krishna, Radharani, please engage me in your divine service, correct? This is a direct prayer we are doing. But while doing chanting, many other issues may be taking over us. No? So the Lord is listening only the best of it. No matter our mind is running here and there, the Lord is receiving only. He's asking me to be engaged in the lotus, in the service of divine, my lotus feet, correct? So bhajitam anichitam. So while one is worshipping and praying like this, but his mind is somewhere else. Anichitam. He is not, oh Lord, I'm chanting this Maha Mantra, because I'm feeling miserable. I have so many hankerings and all these things. So but Lord is not registering that. Lord is thinking, he's asking me to become engaged in the service of my lotus feet, correct? Bhajatam anichyatam, ichha pidhanam. Then what the Lord does? He does two things. Ichha pidhanam, he will remove the very desire or hankering from his heart. Nija pada, and he gives him the service of his lotus feet. So here is the complete both side answer to this question. Lord fulfills one's desire in two ways. Find this. Either if some hankering is conducive or useful for devotees, for sadhaka's progress towards the absolute, then he fulfills it right away. But if some desire which is not so conducive for his progressiveness, detrimental for his progress, then what he does, he removes that very desire in the heart, as long as he is worshipping him. Bhajatam, this word bhajatam is very critical. One cannot give up the sadhana, give up the praying. One is to remain a sadhaka in good condition. And that way, the Lord has the opportunity to do something in the heart of the devotee, that he removes the very desire. So, here's the question. If I have a desire, a strong desire to get something or get, anything fulfilled, it can be fulfilled in two ways. If I get the object of my aspiration, or I lose the very desire. So which is better? Both apparently right now they appears different, because if I am with the desire, but if one becomes free from the desire, that's a greater benefit. So this is what the Lord does. Whether he will fulfill the desire, we find in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, although he had tremendous aspiration for material wealth and position and kingdom, but when he received the direct vision of the Lord, he thought that no. In the Lord, I have received the real jewel. What I was hankering was the broken glass, pieces of glasses. So I no more want these broken pieces of glasses. I have received the actual jewel in you, my Lord. So what the Lord did, the Lord nonetheless gave him the biggest kingdom, created a whole new planet which is superior to the abode of Lord Brahma, Satyalok. It's a Dhruvalok is the Vaikuntha, even within the material realm. So he did get the superior status and the kingdom. Why the Lord did this? Because the Lord has to establish the parampara of future worshippers. If they find out that, oh, Dhruv Maharaj prayed to the Lord for big kingdom, but when the Lord came, he freed the very desire from his heart. But so I don't want to pray to such a Lord that rather than fulfilling my desire, he will free my heart from that very desire, because some desires are so much overpowering us, We don't want the Lord to free us from those desires, but to fulfill those desires. That's why to keep everybody encouraging, even when we hear the story of Dhruv Maharaj. Okay, Dhruv Maharaj had the hankering of a great kingdom, and the Lord gave him nonetheless. Even when he did not want, even when by the vision of the Supreme, his heart got completely cleansed of any material desires, but still the Lord bestowed the big kingdom for thousands of years to rule over. So the Lord, but when Lord, after freeing the heart from the desires, so the Lord bestows or fulfills, gives that benediction that is not entangle him for very long. So when we come under direct supervision, in a direct, what is that? In his direct circle, then we don't have to worry about getting entangled again. So once one has received the direct mercy of the Supreme, he cannot remain a conditioned soul again. So what is the difference between conditioned soul, the liberated soul? Liberated soul, one who has perceived the direct mercy of the Lord, now he will not become conditioned again. So that is the thing. It's just a matter of when we perceive the direct mercy of the Lord. And that mercy of the Lord is, when one is receiving the mercy, it will be gauged along with his attachment to the Lord in 7 aspects. Either he has become very attached to chanting, Nam, Rupa, Guna, Lila, Dhama, Parikar. So attachment is the key. Attachment is the platform where one is lifting, he is taking off from the influence, the pulling down influence of the 3 modes of material nature, correct? On the runway, when the plane is going, when it has gained sufficient momentum, now it can take off. So attachment to either to name, form, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila, Dhama, Parikar, if one becomes attached to an associate of the Lord, any attachment of one of the 7 aspects of the Supreme will do it. All right? Anything else?
Ram Shivaro. Beautiful, beautiful satsang. That special mercy for all of us is you only. In the form of you, that is our special mercy in the form of you. That you will only make us perceive, build that perception towards our transcendental, our eternal seva. So that special mercy which is mentioned is you only.
Krishna says, Krishna kahe, ama bhaje. Krishna says, this person is worshipping me. Krishna kahe, ama bhaje, mage vishay sukh. Although he's worshipping me, praying to me, But what he's asking in prayer includes two aspects, correct? First is glorification, like buttering somebody. Lord, you are great, you are great, you are great. To get something out of him. Na? So Krishna says he's worshipping me, he's glorifying me, but he's asking for what? He's not asking for my shelter. But Mage Vishay Sukh is asking for material sense gratification. Krishna kahe ama bhaje mage Vishay Sukh Amrit chhadi Vish khaye. Vish mange ei bado murak. Although he has come to me, approached me, praying to me, who is the source of all nectar, correct? So although he has come to me, approaching me, praying to me, the nectar, Amrit chhadi, but he is giving up the nectar. And what he is wanting? Poison. Amrit chhadi Vish khaye or Vish mange. Ei bado murak. He is very foolish. So one who exclusively comes to Krishna worship, Krishna understand that at least he has made tremendous endeavor to give up all other worships, correct? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. I will free you from all these entanglement and all the other effects, wrong effects. Mokshishyami ma shuche. Don't worry. At least somehow or other, if he comes to exclusive worship of Krishna, then Krishna takes over, takes care, takes charge of him for his ultimate good. So he is very foolish, but Krishna says, Ami Vigya. I am not fool. I'm very Ami Vigya E Murkhe. Vishe Kene Divo. Why should I give poison to this person even if he is asking for poison? Like Kalpa Vriksha or Devatas. Devatas, if one worships, that is the fault. So whatever you pray the demigods for, they will give you even if it is not. Can you hear me okay? So, so what Krishna will do then? That I am intelligent, why should I give him the poison? Swacharnamadei, by giving him my lotus feet, I will free him from all material hankering because I will I will cause him experiencing the nectar. As long as one is not experienced the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet, one may still have the hankering for the poison. So this is what the responsibility Krishna takes. I will swacharnamit diya vishay chodaibo. Free him from hankering for the poison of sense gratification. All right.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru. Pranam. Beautiful satsang, beautiful satsang, Shri Guru. It's always, whenever we listen to it, it feels like ever fresh, ever new. And well, I always have nice realizations and new, altogether new understanding of the same topic whenever I listen to you, Shri Guru. Thank you. Just one small question, Shri Guru. the translation said, and Prabhupada also mentioned in purport, that this special mercy is given out to the unalloyed devotees. So how can we come to this platform of unalloyed devotion, Shri Guru?
By associating with an unalloyed devotee. The benefit of associating with the unalloyed devotee is that all the alloys we have, they will also be removed. You know, all the ulterior motives, one will also become free if he sticks to the association of an unalloyed devotee. There is no other way actually. So they're just saying that even if one associates with the Lord directly, of course, there is possibility that he will become completely pure. But it's a very rare thing, exceptional thing. One should not think very exceptional about oneself. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in 6th canto, 1st chapter, shlok number, I think, 14 or 15, Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana. Agham dhunvanti kashnena niharam iva bhaskara. If one takes complete shelter of the Lord Vasudeva, Kechit kevalaya bhaktya, exclusively devoting karmana mansa vacha to the Supreme. Kechit, but that word kechit is the thing which is exceptional. Some rare person, if he exclusively takes shelter of Lord Vasudeva, he can become fully purified of all the material anarthas. Agham dhunvanti kashnena niharam eva bhaskara. Just as the fog is removed when the sunshine appears. No? But that is very exceptional. We don't see anybody, hardly anybody in this material world that on his own accord he becomes fully devoted to the Supreme. No? Unless he becomes blessed by the devotees. It is not possible to purify oneself on one's own by thinking that I can just engage 24/7 in devotional service. Who will create that culture in him? A conditioned soul is not ready to devote to the Supreme unless his desires are fulfilled. So that is religiosity. And especially to become devoted to Supreme means then desiring to fulfill the Lord's desire, not one's own desire, correct? So this is the difference with dharma and param dharma. In dharma, we pray to the Lord to fulfill our desires. We make the Lord the order supplier, as Prabhupada said. In param dharma or Bhagavad dharma, we become devoted to the Lord to fulfill his agenda, to become fully consumed ourselves. So that is not possible for a conditioned soul to become consumed to fulfill the desire of the Supreme. Rather, he wants the Supreme, he wants to worship the Supreme to fulfill his own agenda. Correct? But if one becomes devoted to a devotee who is fully devoted to a person who is completely consumed in the service of the Lord, that is the essence of Bhagavad Dharma. There is the following shloka. Shloka number 16 in sixth canto, 1st chapter, text number 16. Na tatha hi aghavan rajan puyete tapadibhi yatha krishnar pita pranas tat purusha nishevaya. If one can become engaged fully, nicely, nishevaya, unconditionally, in the service of one who has given his complete life in the service of Krishna. So rather than becoming directly in the service of Krishna, which is not possible for anyone, hardly, it would be very exceptional. So exception doesn't become rule for us. No? We are ordinary beings and sadhakas. So for us, we need a guarantee. So Shukadeva Goswami is giving the guarantee to Parikshit Maharaj when he asked the question, how the conditioned soul who is stuck in sinful demeanor, so many anarthas. How he can be completely freed or become freed from uprooting all the anarthas? Directly on his own, he is not able to devote himself to the Supreme. But if he can become, which is not feasible, but most feasible thing is to become devoted to one who is fully devoted to Krishna. Na tathahi Agavan Rajan. Yes, O king, a sinful person. We are all sinful in that regard, na? To begin with, because we are stuck with so many sat asat sanskaras, so many hankerings, desires, aspirations, vasanas. So how to completely get uprooted of those desires, vasanas? The only way is Uyeta tapadibhi, not by austerities or the sadhanas, we can completely become free from all these anarthas and vasanas. But yatha krishnar pitay pranas, tat purusha, that person, such person, ni sevaya, if we find ourselves engaged in the service of one who has completely given his life, karmana mansa vacha, yatha krishnar pitay pranas, tat purusha ni sevaya. Then by that effect, so if one associates with a pure devotee, what happens? He himself becomes a pure devotee, correct? Guaranteed. If things I will associate only with the Krishna, Vasudev directly, one may, but it could be a very exceptional thing. Exceptional means it could be very rare, but it's not guaranteed. Someone may get it. It's not a guaranteed, correct? So we should follow the path of guarantee or path of not sure. Correct? So that is the essence of Bhagavad Dharma. And that's where in the conditioned state, as we discussed many times, that in the conditioned state, even a sadhaka, what happens when given the multiple options? He will inevitably pick the wrong one. Nah? So even if one gets a touchstone, even one takes shelter of the kalpa vriksha, wish fulfilling tree, what he will beg the tree? He won't beg something which is meant for his ultimate good. He will beg only what he thinks is very desirable for him in his material fulfillment or happiness of this world, because he has no direct experience or direct fascination to attain the Supreme. Correct? Unless we become fascinated to attain the Supreme, like yad gatvana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Unless we become very much fascinated by the information about the spiritual world, we are not very eager to attain the Supreme. So a devotee, a pure devotee who is fully consumed in the service of Krishna. If we associate with such a person, and if we appreciate his most blessedness, so this the concept of most blessedness is very, very critical. We may find many devotees, correct? So our attitude could be, okay, we listen, we associate with many, but actually we associate with no one. If we associate with many, we will make comparative things. Comparative, we will become the judge. And that's where we will remain deprived. Pure devotee, our understanding of pure devotee is the pure devotee I associate or we associate Our perception is the best. He's the best of the pure devotees. He's the best of the pure devotees available to me. Correct? So if you meet many pure devotees, then again you will go into judgmental mood. It is not an objective thing. You try to classify different pure devotees. It is your personal subjective perception. If you perceive a pure devotee, you will perceive him as the most blessed. Then and then there is a possibility that you will become attached to him. You can associate with him and eventually become just like him, a pure devotee. So that is the process. All right.
Thank you, Shri Guru, for showing us the guaranteed, surest way to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Hare Krishna.
Good luck. All the best wishes.
Pranam, Shri Guru.
Hare. All right. Anyone else wants to say something? Hare Krishna. All right.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru.
Hare
Thank you very much. It's such a blessing to be able to have you again in Karuna Bhavan, even if it's virtually. I think it would be nice, maybe we can all go off mute and we can chant Hare Krishna for Shri Guru as a thank you for his association, his love, his kindness.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.
Bhaktisvarupa Govinda Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai Ho, Jai Ho.
Samavit Nitai Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Hare.
See you next Tuesday, huh? Same time.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Maharaj.
Pranam Shri Guru, Hare Krishna.
Welcome. Hare Krishna.